Amnet TV, which is not just another channel, and how can I say it, Augustine? We've revamped the show, the Off the Pitch show, we've switched the time from 12:45, and it will be coming on your screens at 9:30 every Saturday due to the demand from our viewers. So I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore, and I'm not alone, I'm joined by Augustine. Augustine, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's always good to be here. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God for the gift of life and good health. We are not here by power or by mighty, but only by His grace. And would love to pass our sincere condolences to Mr. Rapson Sikombe and his family during this trying period.
Yeah, we won't be joined by Uncle Rapson, who is having a funeral, and we just, like Augustina said, we just pass our condolences to him, and hopefully we'll go check on him after the show, because he's our colleague and we would love to give our support. We've had an entertaining week, to say, and maybe just a quick one. Let's look at the move. The highly spoken of move of Fashion Sakala.
I think it's an interesting move. Fashion Sakala moving from Ostanda to Scotland to join Glasgow Rangers, the champions of the Scottish League. Yeah, he's someone who has progressed through the ranks very, very well. I think to many of you, if he came through the scene through Air to Rising Stars as they were going through provinces to pick the finest talent, I think. Fortunately enough, Fashion Sakala was one of the players who was picked through the Air to Rising Stars program that was started by the Football Association of Zambia. He then went on to Nchanga Rangers, where he had a very, very good season. His debut season in the Super League, he scored some vital goals, playing alongside Patson Taka, Radi Walia, Emmanuel Banda. It was a very, very good Nchanga Rangers squad. I think Nchanga Rangers will always boast of bringing Fashion Sakala to the big league. He then moved to Sensational Zanaco, where he went into a team which was very demanding, unlike at Nchanga Rangers, where they were always fighting relegation. He went to a team where they were fighting to win the league titles, and I think to me, he went there and he did very, very well. Fashion Sakala. That's how he even ended his move to Spartak Moscow, where he went in Russia. It didn't go very, very well for him there. Then he moved to Ostanda in Belgium. He was teammate with Emmanuel Banda at some point. He found home there in Ostanda. I think he was one of their dependable players. Fashion Sakala scored some crucial goals, some assists. He's someone who can only get better. Fashion Sakala. I think he just needs to work on a little things regarding his games. You saw him at the AFCON Under-20. He was very, very instrumental in Zambia winning the tournament and going to the World Cup. We did very well. Scored one of the first goals in the tournament when we played Portugal, playing against the likes of Ruben Diaz, who is now at Manchester City. He managed to get a goal playing against a centre-back of such calibre. Now he's moved to Scotland. British football is probably where everyone wants to go. I think the Scottish League might not be the same with where he's coming from, but at least going to the Rangers, he has got the opportunity to play in the UEFA Champions League, because they are the champions of Scotland. If they drop from the UEFA Champions League, you play in the Europa League, which is it's a boost for him. I think this is what we have been crying for as Zambian football fans, to see more of our players playing at the high level, playing a game which is very demanding, because if you look at what the steps we have taken back as a country, I think it's because we do not have a lot of players who are very much exposed at the highest level. I think the Scottish League offers a very, very good platform for Fashion Sakala to develop under a manager who's done it all in terms of Steven Gerrard. He's played the World Cup, he's played the Euros, he's played the Premier League, he's played the UEFA Champions League final and won it. I think he's the best guy to guide him from now up to where now we see Fashion Sakala breaking into the top leagues in Europe.
You know, before we continue, Augustine, before we get into more details, we'll just take a very, very short break and we'll be right back on the other side.
We're not here when going to the
welcome back. And just a quick one before we continue on the Fashion Sakala move to Rangers. Let me just give a quick one on the Women's League. That's in the Lusaka province. Matches that are taking place today as of week 12 fixtures. That's Saturday. At 10 hours, we've got Pataki Girls versus King Sports Academy Girls, which is at Olympia Park Secondary School. It starts at 10 hours. And then we've got Football Chance Foundation Girls versus NAPSA Queens. It's at NRDC grounds. And then we've got Green Eagles versus Luyando Foundation Girls, which is ZNS McKinney grounds. And then we've got Lusaka Red Lions versus the Twikatane Queens. That's at Twikatane Complex. And then at 15 hours, we've got Mapani Queens versus Garden Youth, which is at Olympia Park Secondary School grounds. And tomorrow, Sunday, the 9th, we've got Zanaco Ladies versus Chiwolia Sports Academy. It's at Sunset. And then at 15 hours, we've got Lusaka Queens versus Kafue Celtics. That will be at TAP grounds. 15 hours, Mississippi Queens United versus Progress Sports Club, Katwishi ground. That was just a quick update in terms of the fixtures that are there today and tomorrow. For those who want to watch the ladies, give in there, or you can just catch these games. A lot of them are being played at 10 hours today. Augustine, we've seen there is just a quick one here. Fashion Sakala, who has netted 13 times and provided 3 assists in 29 league appearances for the Cats boys this season, and looking at his move, how will it be influential to the move that a lot of people have been talking about in terms of Patson Daka making a move as well?
I think one thing that I've noticed, Fashion Sakala has been under the radar. I think no one has really been paying a lot of attention, but he's someone who has been progressing steadily, like I earlier said, and this will try and motivate everyone to try and reach his heights. I think going into the Scottish League, yes, it's not the biggest league in the world, but at least it's a stepping stone for him. He's already in Britain. It's a chance now for him to be scouted by the Premier League teams, and maybe you break through into Spanish League or maybe in the Bundesliga. But if you look at now Patson Daka, his numbers don't lie. He has got fantastic numbers. Patson Daka is being backed by those numbers, and maybe it's high time he made a move. His coach Match is moving to RB Leipzig in Germany, going to take over from Julian Nagelsmann, who has moved to Bayern, and reports coming from Germany, Patson Daka is his first target going to Leipzig. I think if you look at RB Leipzig, ever since they lost Timo Werner to Chelsea, they haven't really replaced him. Maybe Patson Daka may be the guy to go and fill that void which Timo Werner left behind, and it will be a very, very good move for Patson Daka. But it has to be where, yes, we would love to see Daka move, but what assurance will he have wherever he goes that he'll have a starting berth like he has been having at Red Bull Salzburg, and he's been developing very, very well. I think playing in the Austrian Bundesliga, it has helped him grow into a player that we're seeing now in Patson Daka. He's improved. You would see Patson Daka, his technical ability wasn't very, very good, but you would see he's improving with time, and his pace is something which frightens the defenders. Has got an eye for goal. He's very, very good in and around the box. I think maybe it's high time he also made the move. Probably clubs will start knocking, because everyone is looking at the numbers in the top European leagues. He's one of the 10 best scorers in all the European leagues. He's someone who I think a lot of clubs will have a looking.
But let's look at the challenge that Fashion Sakala is going to have in the Scottish League. We've seen, I think it's now, for a couple of years, Gerard has been talking of Fashion Sakala being someone who can blend in his squad. Are we seeing a Fashion Sakala who is just going there and see himself in the first team?
I think he has to go there and challenge for his place, because they have got Kent there. He's a very, very good wide player, very, very skillful, and provides a lot of assists. They have got Rafael in their squads. They have got Morelos, who is probably their main man, is their main guy, Fashion Sakala will go in and will challenge for a place. I think from what I'm seeing, maybe we may not see Morelos at Rangers. He may move on. Maybe that opens the door for Fashion Sakala, because he's someone who Steven Gerrard said they've been tracking for a very, very long time, and they wanted to get this move over the line in January, but it didn't materialize due to the clubs not coming to an agreement. But the Rangers kept on knocking. I think for them to have gone back to stand and ask for the services of Fashion Sakala, they should have seen something special from Fashion Sakala. They have got a proper game plan and what they intend to do with Fashion Sakala. Maybe it's the missing piece of the jigsaw. We may never know. I think going into European football, in the Champions League, you need to have a very, very big squad. And I think Fashion Sakala will offer that. He's someone who can start from the bench. He'll give you a different dimension. He can start from the first whistle. I think for him, it's all about development. As Fashion Sakala is a young player, he's always willing to learn, always willing to get better. It's a very good stepping stone for Rangers. It's not an assurance that he will be a starter, but I think he's someone who will be in and around the squad.
Hey, let's look at for our viewers. The question for today that we are giving and asking you is: do you think Ghana will be able to survive the relegation zone with 9 games remaining? Because we saw them during the past week. They drew with Nkwazi, and I think let's start with that game, Augustine. Let's look at the Ghana Nkwazi game, which came on a 2-2 draw. Goals being scored by Freddy Chimenga, Richard Dokran, Bernard Kumwenda, and Steven Mutama. We saw how excited a lot of Ghana fans got, Augustine, when they announced the return of one Best On Championship, but we've seen things still haven't yet materialized. For me, the acquisition of one Ngonga bringing some force maybe in the team, but let's look at them. You personally, do you feel like Ghana will survive the relegation?
It's going to be very, very tough looking at the remaining 9 games that Ghana has. They are playing teams who have got different ambitions, different motivations. There are teams that are looking to win the league title, like Zesco United. There are teams like Zanaco, like Power Dynamos, teams that are motivated to try qualify for continental football. It's going to be very, very tricky for Ghana. I think the biggest problem for Ghana has been conceding goals. They have conceded 40 goals during this season. The worst in the league. Not even Kitwe United, who are at the foot of the table, have conceded so much. I think, to me, it has always been their defensive side has always let them down. And I think the departure of Musa Muhammad, I think, he left a very, very big blow. I think one thing that I've realized about this Ghana squad is like they lost the spine of the team. Ngereke Katembwa, yes, a lot of people may not be one of their favorite players who had come and played at Ghana, but he was a very good goalkeeper. He was always commanding his area, he was commanding his defense. They lost Musa Muhammad, who was just sitting just right in front of the goalkeeper and shielding that defense, putting everyone in their places. And in front of the back four, they had Duncan Otieno, who has moved to Lusaka Dynamos, and Idris Mbombo. It's very, very difficult as a team when you lose your spine for you to recover, because if you look at Ghana defenders, I think they do not have a leader in their Ghana Football Club. Yes, Richard Okrani, who wear the armband here and there, but it's not the kind of personality, the character that we have seen at Ghana Football Club for years. The likes of Christopher Muntali, the way they played Billy Mwanza, the partnership they had come up with. And if you look at Ghana, they have been struggling defensively. They have been, I think, to me, I'm not saying Ghana just too soft. They give chances easily for the oppositions. They do not make it very, very difficult for oppositions. We saw it last weekend when they went in Choma and lost by 3-0. It would have been 6, it would have been 7, because the defense, I don't know what their job is to do. I think the defender's first principle is to defend. That's the first thing that you are taught as a defender. You need to defend your box very, very well. And if you look at this Ghana side, they are not doing that at the minute. They need to defend their box very, very solidly. They shouldn't allow teams to play through them very, very easily. I think if you look at this Ghana side, it's easy to play through them, it's easy to play around them, and it's easy to play in behind them. I think so. Now you need to find the right balance, find the right personality. If you are going to defend deep and make it difficult for teams, I think this is the first thing that Best On Championship needs to get in their system, because they are conceding a lot of goals. if you do not concede goals, you do not lose a football match. So that's one thing they need to address in Ghana Football Club. They need to stop leaking in goals if they have to stay up in the league, because they have been scoring goals here and there, and one Achilles from Ghana Football Club has been set plays. We've documented it very, very well. I think in continental football is something which hurt them, because they have been conceding set pieces very, very cheaply in Ghana. It's something they need to work on. You can see in the midweek when they played Mkwazi, Stephen Mutama scored from a set piece. I think it's something which needs to be addressed, because as a team which was being crowned champions and then to be fighting relegation, I think it's really uncalled for Ghana Football Club. We thought they coming in based on championship will lift up the squad, because we always see this when new managers take over at football clubs. There's always that bounce. Players now want to prove themselves to the new managers. They start running an extra mile. It's something which in Ghana players, I think realistically, they have not been doing, especially in the league. Ghana Football Club, they haven't been running too much. I think if you look, I don't know, we do not have the numbers of the kilometers that have been covered, but they do not run too much like the other teams. They do not work as hard. Their midfield is too soft. Meshek Chaila is no longer the Meshek Chaila of 5 years ago. He's being passed around too easily in midfield. He's not making it very, very difficult for opposition. If you look at Fred Sutra Shimenga, yes, he's chipped in with a couple of goals, but he hasn't been the Shimenga we have known him to be. Alison Chisala is struggling. He's looking out of sorts. I think the players that have gone into Ghana, like Akim Mumba, Muindi, they are the one who have brought in a little bit of life at Ghana Football Club, and we hope the coming in of Alex Ngonga, the character and the personality brings in, he will try and drive this Ghana side away from this relegation zone and to a match drill, and which will be very, very interesting to see. Midweek they played against a very, very difficult Nkwazi side. How many times do you see Nkwazi concede 2 goals and draw a game? Nkwazi are not a side which will score 2 goals, 4 goals. They are a very, very difficult side, and most times when Nkwazi concede 2 goals, they lose games, because they are not a very good attacking side, but they are very, very good defensively. They defend very, very well. But from Ghana to have scored 2 times from the spot and blown away the lead 2 times, I think to me shows how that they are consistent. They are very, very big problems at Ghana Football Club, because you cannot sit on your lead. I think to me you cannot manage to maintain your lead. It's going to be very, very tricky, and going into this weekend they are playing a Kitwe derby. Probably it's the kind of games which you see this will be the game which will kickstart our season. It will build your confidence. Once you get a very, very good result against a struggling Power Football Club side, they are both struggling. If you ask me, 3 of the West teams in the last 6 games are coming from Kitwe. It's Nkana Power Dynamos and Nkana Football Club, and they have Kitwe United. Sorry, they have been struggling, all the teams from Kitwe. So now you look at these derby games. It can kickstart your season. It's either it can make or break you. Just going there with the right character, the right attitude, and a very, very good approach. Try and be very, very solid, be hard to beat, be difficult to play through. I think it's something which Ghana Football Club needs to work on going into the last 9 games, because it's not very, very good being in those relegation waters.
I think before we look at the other games that we have played within the course of the week, you've already said Tingana is facing Power Dynamos. That's today, which is a Kitwe derby. Back then, this game used to be a decider of the title, but now we are seeing it to be something. How is it challenging this game? Like, I'll give an example. For one, Ngonga going in the game, facing the former employees.
I think Alex Ngonga going back to Power Dynamos has got something to prove. He was deemed to be below requirements by Perry Mutapa. He thinks that he's not the guy who will deliver for them, and Bazo has got something to prove going against Power Dynamos defenders. He has worked with them for a very long time, and you go there, you know how to frustrate them. I think even Power Dynamos, you know Ngonga very, very well. They know how to get him frustrated and things like that. This will be a very, very key game for both Power Dynamos and Ghana Football Club, because at the end of 90 minutes, if Power Dynamos do not pick a result, it might spell the end of Perry Mutapa and Masao Sotemba, which will be very, very harsh to me in my view, because Power Dynamos are where they are because I think to me truth be told, this management, it's not the coaches. I think, to me, if you look back last season when Perry Mutapa took over Power Dynamos were struggling. They were where Nkana is now, fighting relegation, but Perry Mutapa went in, put the house in order. They got big results like beating Zanaco 3-0 at National Edo Stadium. It started taking them away from that relegation fight and pushed them closer to even continental football, because if last season would have gone the distance and it wouldn't have ended it prematurely, Power Dynamos would have been knocking on the door for a continental place, because after Perry Mutapa went in, they had put up a good run of results, played some good football. And I remember one of the press briefing after a match, Perry Mutapa said, going into this coming season.
So let's just pick this call, Augustine, before we proceed. Can go ahead, Augustine.
Good morning, you're through to Off the Pitch.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where you are calling us from?
This is calling from...
Calling from?
Choma.
Oh, okay. How is Choma this morning?
No, Choma.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You can go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Okay, sir. I think it's about the see where look at the great game.
Hello? I think we've got bad network there, but anyway, you can continue calling the same lines that are there. The question that we're asking today is, do you think Ghana will be able to survive relegation with the 9 games remaining? For me, I would say with the 8 games remaining, because today they are facing Power Dynamos, which is going to be a hard game to play, because looking at a Power Dynamos that is coming from a lose against Kawe Warriors within the course of the week, the goal which was scored by Matthews in Kowane. How Power Dynamos go with this game, Augustine, looking at they're coming from a lose, and Ghana is coming like from a draw, and if possibly, we would just love to see the league table as of week 28, so that we see how these two teams are faring in terms of points and the position that they are in. If we could just display the league table for us. So Augustine, that's how the table looks like as of week 28, and the table is courtesy of Bwezani Mbewe.
Yeah, as you can see, Power Dynamos are sitting on 38 points. They have been languishing near continental football. They have been there and thereabouts. They have been looking like a team that will make continental football. I think at the start of the season, one of the favorites, not just to play continental football, but to challenge for the title. But you can see the last 6 games they have been struggling. They cannot even manage to pick a win. The same applies to Nkana Football Club, their opponents in the Kitwe Derby. We've got a call on.
Yeah, let's just pick this call. Hello? Hello, good morning, sir. We've got feedback. Kindly, when calling, try to reduce the volume on your TV set so that we don't get feedback from here, because once you call, whilst the volume is high, we are getting feedback. So if we can just have the table again displayed on our screen there so that it's easy. Augustine.
So I think you can see Power Dynamos, they have bottled it, truth be told, in the last 6 games. They are the games that they could have won. Games against Lumana Radiant, Kawe Warriors, it wasn't the most difficult games in football, but they have bottled it. Power Dynamos, they have failed to beat Green Eagles at home. I think it's been their own doing, Power Dynamos, where they find themselves, and confidence is low in that Power Dynamos camp. If you ask me, going into this Kitwe Derby, both teams have been struggling in their last 6 games. You may never know where this game goes to. They say form is thrown outside the window. There's no form there in derbies. There's no form between the two sides.
I think before we leave the table, let's look at the top 4. Let's look at the top 4. We've got Zanaco, we've got Tesco United, Zanaco, Forest Rangers, and Beautycon. And Beautycon is facing Red Arrows.
Yeah, and Forest Rangers play Kitwe United, and Sensations Zanaco play Kawe Warriors. Tricky game for all the south sides in there. Kitwe United, sometimes they can frustrate you. They can pick a draw out of you, because Forest Rangers they lost back-to-back games against Zanaco and against.
Let's just pick this call. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good morning, sir. Where are you calling us from?
I'm Spango Somiaka calling you from Nazongwe, Southern Province.
Oh, okay, thank you. You can go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Okay, I wanted to comment on Kana, our team.
You can go ahead.
Yes, the challenge which is there, I think, is the defense. Yeah, so we seem to be lacking powerful defenders who can defend.
So do you feel like they will be able to survive the relegation zone and continue playing the FAS MTN Super League?
It will take the grace of God. Yes. Because looking at the time which Betson Zambia has, I don't think we'll be able to survive. No. It will just take the grace of God.
And we hopefully and pray that the grace of God be with your team, sir.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming through.
I think.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Very, very honest opinion from Nkana fan. I think to me, when this appointment was made, Betson Chambeshi was being appointed as the new coach for Nkana Football Club. Was, do these football people really sit down and really look at this offer? Is it really worth it? I think to me, if you ask me, Betson Chambeshi is gone into a club which is in big trouble. He was with Kansashi Dynamo side, which were doing very, very well. He had a project going down there, very good project, playing good football, playing to his philosophy, looking to bounce back into the Super League, but he has chosen to go into Ghana. I think, if I don't know what you may call that, passion or something, but I think they should sit down when making these decisions. Is it really wise? Because Betson Chambeshi, he's found a club which is in big troubles, and at the end of the day, if this Ghana Football Club gets relegated, it will be on Betson Chambeshi's head. He got Ghana Football Club relegated. It won't be the previous managers. It will be Quicksilver who get relegated with Ghana Football Club, and it's a big danger.
If you recall back then, Ango Rapson said it clearly to say, even if we were to bring Guardiola, the problems at Ghana are not with the coaches.
Yeah, I think it's something which they say when the head of the fish is rotten, the entire fish becomes rotten. It's something which we can clearly see at Ghana Football Club. Results, I think if the management, things are not happening in management, it shows on the pitch, and it's something which we've been hearing stories about Ghana Football Club, unpaid bonuses, unpaid allowances.
But if you saw Augustine, there was a post, I think, within the course of this same week where they were cleared all their arrears. So, okay, let's just pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, this is calling.
Kindly speak up a bit.
This is story.
Oh, okay, you can go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, the team of Ghana also survive with us.
Okay.
It will be a miracle. It will be a miracle. Where we started at we know we are doing make up.
Okay, but what's your prediction for today's game? That's Ghana versus Power Dynamos. Do you see Ghana winning?
Yes, I'm winning.
By how many goals? By how many goals? Then the miracle from Ghana starts today. Thank you for coming through, sir. So I think, Augustine, you spoke earlier of the last 6 games that all the teams have had. If possibly you can just display for us those coaches' performance, Augustine, in the last 6 games, and we are seeing one based on Kayindungana, they've only picked 1 point.
Yeah, and you can see above them Power Dynamos. Like I said, the West teams in the last 6 games have been from Kitwe. Perimtapa 4 points, Kito United, Kofi 4 points, Kelvin Kaindu, Betson Chambeshi 1 point in the last 6 games. I think, to me, this form is relegation form for me, if you ask me, in Ghana Football Club. This is relegation form. At this point in time, you need to start now grinding out results as in Ghana Football Club and climbing up the table, because if you look at the teams like GBFC who are above that relegation zone, Young Green Eagles, they're picking up points and they're slowly but surely moving away from that relegation zone, and it will be very, very tough come in the last 5 games. If Nkana football clubs are not at least 2 points away from safety, it will be very, very difficult going into last 5 games, and you expect Nkana to bounce back, and you can see Numba consistency, 18 points out of 6 games, 6 out of 6. This is what Ghana Football Club needs to do. Best, just in Chinamakemi in a GBFC, we question disappointment, but he's gone in, he's picked 13 points in their last 6 games, and it has seen them at least breathe easily now above that relegation zone. They're slowly but surely going away from those relegation waters. And
when you look at Wedson Nyirenda, someone who has been inconsistent for me.
Poor. I think to me, Lusaka Dynamos, the only thing that they have had going this season, I think, is the Absa Cup. That's the only positivity, because league form, I think, leaves an awful lot to be desired.
I think we've got a caller there.
Good morning.
We are okay, sir. Your name and where you are calling us from?
My name is Frank. I'm calling from Kananda.
Oh, that's fantastic. Frank, what's your contribution?
My contribution was in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, my personal opinion is that this guy is that you're going to Division 1. Because looking at the way they play games, they don't seem to be picking up the data.
Okay.
Look at the game of one duality. Not one by one, but the game of the look at the data goal. And so now you look at the contact of the players. The children, the correct decision, the only one that
so we are seeing them playing Kashikishi Warriors next season.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so what's your prediction for today's game? That's Ghana and Power Dynamos. Thank you very much for coming, Frank.
We'll meet covering some local games in the afternoon, and think he's come there with very
that's our brother man Frank giving his view, and those are very, very valid points that he's given. The motivation aspect, Augustine, that most teams, I think, in an African setup, we don't value that.
I think to me it's something which we really, really lack. Sometimes players will win and not get paid. We are winning bonuses. I think what will motivate you to go and win the next game, we think to realize is always just the same thing, we won't get paid. I think we've seen situations that Power Dynamos, like I was saying earlier, Perry Mutapa said last season, before the season came to an end, he said you won't see most of these players come next season because they are below the quality that he expected, and he was expecting to be back in the transfer market. But what did Power Dynamos do? They did the opposite. You say already, Warrior, yes, they went to go get Spencer out on loan at Green Eagles. He brings a little bit of similar quality to Radi Warrior. But what do Power Dynamos really lack? One, Power Dynamos do not have a commanding centre back. We've seen the last time they won the league title, they had Kamzatika at the heart of defense. They had Billy Imonda. They had Nyambe Mulenga. I think to me now they lack those characters. They do not have those defenders. If you look at probably their best player is holding midfield and Benson Sakala. They got Dickie Ngwenya back in good form, but would have loved to see a strike. I think probably if I'm Power Dynamos fan, I would have said, even Perry Mutapa, I think in one of his press conferences, he said you only commend players to the management, and it's up to them now to do the business. I think probably one of his players would have been Adam Zikiru. I think.
Let's just pick this call, Augustine. Yellow. Yellow. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
We are fine. Your name and where you are calling us from? Oh, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yes. Okay. the thing is not worried about that. What thing you can't the way of things.
Not even a miracle.
No, there is no miracle. Look at the way they play with
Which team do you support, sir?
That is the important thing for us. That is our people that they can't do anything.
So what's your prediction for today's game? Ghana is facing Power Dynamos in a Kitwe derby. Thank you, sir, for your contribution and continue watching Camlet TV, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe just a quick one, Augustine. Let me just give an update of the other results of the games that were played in midweek. We had Kawe Warriors who won Power Dynamos by 1-0. Matthews Ngowani, like I said earlier, and then we had Lumana Radiance who faced off Zanaco, and the game came out on a draw. That's 1-0. And we had Lusaka Dynamos who lost to Indeni by 2-1. We had Napsa Stars who won against Kitwe United, and Emmanuel Mayuka was on the score sheet. We also had Young Green Eagles versus Red Arrows. It came out in a scoreless draw. Budicon FC won Prison Lepers by 2-1. Forest Rangers lost to Green Buffaloes by 2-0. And maybe on this one, Augustine, a striker who is underrated for me, Friday Samu, came out with the 2 goals.
I think Friday Samu, ever since he joined Green Buffalo Football Club from Tula Magic in Namibia, he has been carrying the team on his shoulders. I think every season you've seen him help GBFC qualify for continental football. There was a season when he went and scored 17 goals and made so GBFC finish second and go to play continental football. He's someone who has been very, very underrated in the Zambian league. If you ask me, he's one of the top strikers in the league. Friday Samu, a fit Friday Samu always give you a 10+ goals. He's unlike players like David Daka. David Daka cannot give you 10 goals in a season. Friday Samu can give you 10 goals in a season. You see, when they were going to Chan, we criticized Michu's selection of strikers. Friday Samu was one of them. He had 2 goals when they were going to Chan. Moses Piri had 9 goals at the time they were going to Chan. But now, fast forward to today, Moses Piri is on 10 goals and Friday Samu is also on 10 goals. So after Chan, Moses Piri has just managed to score once or twice. Yeah, yes, he scored 1 against Red Arrows, and I think probably maybe that's the only game we could have scored. And Friday Samu has come from nowhere and he's pushed this GBFC side away from those relegation waters, scoring 10 goals. I think it's not an easy feat for a Green Buffalo side who haven't been investing in their squad. We've been talking about motivation. It's the same story with this GBFC squad. You expect different results with the same material. You do not invest in your squad. We just hope the coach makes some miracles and start winning games. I think if you look at the midweek results, my pick of them is Indeni coming to beat Lusaka Dynamos in Lusaka. It's a very, very big result for Menyash Pepo. I think everyone wondered, this is a one-season wonder coach. I think to me, he's just a tactician. Let's give credit where it's due. Menyash Pepo, he was a Prison Leopards. He made them push away from those relegation waters. They were knocking on continental football. They had 29 points before he left. Barange has gone and just picked up 4 points. Menyash Pepo went to Indeni, a team which was deep in relegation waters, and where is it now? They are mid-table. I think he's a coach who is one for the future. I think we must give credit where it's due. He's doing a fantastic job. Same applies to Dennis Making and Nkwazi. Nkwazi do not make huge investments. I think we had Chaz in one of our shows, the media officer for Nkwazi. He talked about the signings that they brought through. But if you look at this, most of these signings they brought through is players who are coming from lower divisions. You are bringing them from lower divisions and bringing them to the big league. It was difficult at the start of the season. Nkwazi, they were struggling to win games, but now you can see Nkwazi look like a house on fire. They have got Bernard Kumwenda, very, very talented lad, I must say, Bernard Kumwenda. Stephen Mutama, one of the best midfielders this season. He looks like a revelation. I think Mitch even called him up for the Algerian game. He was part of that team. He's someone who has really stamped his authority in that Nkwazi midfield. And credit must go to Makinga. He has done a fantastic job with this Nkwazi outfit.
And today, that's week 29. The games that are being played, that's today. We've got an early kickoff that's at Sunset Stadium. That's Nkwazi versus Zesco United. And before I proceed with let's just speak this score. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
We're okay. How are you, sir? Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Kenneth from Always.
Oh, okay. How is Always this morning?
Always is cool.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, my contribution is the corner family. Trying to survive to win this game against Power.
Very true.
By what's your prediction? By how many?
We're going to win by 2 goals to 1.
Okay.
You know, is it today or tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming through, sir.
I think, just to echo what he has said, I think if they win tomorrow's game, I think it will be very, very key in their race for survival. I think I talked about it. You pick games. It's such games whereby this will kickstart our season. It's where we will start building our confidence from. They just need to go into the game against Power Dynamos, put in a shift, put in a performance. I think they need to be solid. They need to be be aggressive. I think they haven't been aggressive enough. One thing you do if you defend in an aggressive manner, you are aggressive in defending, you will be aggressive in attack as well, because that transition from defense into attack is the very, very tricky part. I think it's Ghana, which Ghana needs to work on very, very well, because sometimes they lose possession high up the field, and it's very much easy for team to play through Ghana. I think they need to defend aggressively if they need to win this derby, and if they have to stay up in the last 9 games.
So like Elia said, the fixes that are there today, 13 hours we've got Nkwazi versus Zesco United at Sunset Stadium, and it's live on SuperSport, and it will be followed by Zanaco facing Kawe Warriors, and Red Arrows are facing Budicon. That's at 15 at Ngoloma Stadium, and then we've got Kitwe United versus Forest Rangers at Garden Park, and tomorrow we kickstart today at 15 hours by Power Dynamos hosting Ghana. That's at the Arthur Davis Stadium, and you can view that game. That's live on SuperSport 229. And at 15 hours we've got Indeni versus Young Green Eagles, and Green Eagles versus Lusaka Dynamos, Green Buffaloes versus Lumana Radiants, and at 14 hours we've got Prison Lepers versus Napsa Stars. Those are the games that are being played tomorrow. Augustine, away from this, let's look at the all English affairs in the UEFA final.
I think all English final, it's positive for British football, but I must look at it on a different angle. It's positive for Chelsea Football Club and for Manchester City Football Club, not England as a country, because if you look at the semi-finals playing at Stamford Bridge, and at Etihad, only 5 English players started both games combined. 5 English players started. So you can see it's not about Chelsea and the managers that were coaching those two sides, one from Germany and one from Spain. It's nothing to do with England. It's just something to do with these football clubs, the huge investments they have brought in. I heard one of big pundits in world football calling it a fairy tale, Manchester City reaching the UEFA Champions League final. What's a fairy tale? What's there? There's no fairy tale. Manchester City spent £2 billion pounds to build this squad. There's no fairy tale about it. They bought this success. So, and they brought in a manager who is very, very good. You come up with a very good squad, organize themselves, and I think it's been very, very tricky for City. I must say they have lacked experience at this stage, but you can see the difference from this Manchester City side is that they are very, very solid defensively. It's one positive going into Champions League football. You need to be very, very solid defensively, and City have done that. The coming in of Ruben Diaz has brought stability to that back line. They have got Fernandinho and Rod in front of them. They pick one of them, very, very good holding midfielders, I must say. And if you look at Ilkay Gundogan, he's been a revelation for City. He's playing good football. That's why Guardiola has been playing more with a false nine, because he hasn't had to depend for a striker to get them goals, because the share goes around the squad. And one positive part about City is that every time they're in possession of the ball, key players, João Cancelo, Kyle Walker and the young Zinchenko, they play a very, very big role in the way Manchester City stretches oppositions and pushes a lot of bodies in the opposition's half. And we've seen this over and again. Every time they are in possession, you see Zinchenko and João Cancelo push high up the field, provide the width. Then they allow Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva to try and tuck in and play a little bit closer to Gabriel Jesus. And they always pick pockets of spaces, this Manchester City side, and credit to them, they have reached their first ever Champions League final. They'll play against a Chelsea side, very, very good under Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea are not very, very playing flowing football. They are not very, very attack minded, but they just keep the ball very, very well. They do not create a lot of chances. They are very, very intelligent in the way they pick their passes, they pick their moments. They have got Mason Mount, very, very good attacking midfielder. This is a project which Frank Lampard started. A lot of Chelsea fans would say he failed, but I think credit must be given to Lampard for putting the right structures for Thomas Tuchel to come in and take over this Chelsea side, because we wouldn't have seen these Mason Mounts if Frank didn't come in. Frank had faith in the players who are coming through. They have got Gilmore, they have got Tammy Abraham, who hasn't seen a lot of game time because of the big investment the clubs made in the summer, bringing Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. Timo Werner has struggled for Chelsea, but he may have repaid them with that big goal in the semi-finals against Real Madrid. And I think one thing which Super Frank may have missed in this Chelsea setup was where to fit N'Golo Conte. Thomas Tuchel has come in and has found a very, very good position for N'Golo Conte, and I think to me is the guy who was that Chelsea side together like glue. Is being very, very good defending and attacking. He would someone who press oppositions, win the ball high up the field and create a chance from there at Chelsea Football Club. They are very, very defensive, solid. We've seen a different Rudiger. Christensen looks a new player. Aspilicueta, Thiago Silva. It looks very, very different Chelsea, and they will fancy their chances in the final as well.
And before they face each other, that's in the UEFA Champions League final they are playing today, where Man City is hosting Chelsea at 18:30. The battle starts today, Augustine.
Big one. I think City win the league title. Chelsea are also looking to secure their spot in the Champions League, because they have got two ways of qualifying for Champions League. Chelsea, they have to win the Champions League or maybe finish inside the top four. Going against a Manchester City side they have already beaten in the FA Cup. I think it's more of a dress rehearsal for the UEFA Champions League final. I think both teams will be very, very cautious. No one would love to pick an injury at this stage of the season, but you always fancy Manchester City in such games, because the way Chelsea are set up, I think they are very, very suited for a cup competition, because they will try and soak the pressure and hit you on the break, and they have been doing that very, very well. You saw against Real Madrid, sometimes they would just leave Real Madrid, they have possession, just be very solid, be very compact, and very, very good in transition, this Chelsea side. And it's one tactic should go in against City. City will dominate play, they always do that, but Chelsea won't allow them to get into those attacking areas where they love to get into. De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez. You need to deny them the space that they may use to hit you, and we just hope to see a very, very good game of football and hope to see goals.
Let's look at another exciting game, which is Barcelona hosting Atletico Madrid today at 16:15. For me, I would say this is the title decider game, because whoever wins and whoever loses, this is an advantage to Real Madrid for me.
Yeah, big encounter between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. I think in a couple of months ago, maybe January, Barcelona may not have been in a conversation of a title hunt, but you would see how when Messi is on song, I think to me he's always been the key guy. When he's on song, this Barcelona side ticks, and you can see the likes of the young players now that have been introduced in that defense, like the likes of Mingueza, Aloha. They have got very, very good young defenders. They have got Serginho Dest in the wing back areas. Now we've seen they have been boosted with this return of Sergio Roberto. Barcelona never had a chance for the title, but now it's almost in their hands. I think if they beat Atletico, the initiative will be Real Madrid now will be the one in pole position to win La Liga. But if you look at consistency in the last 10 games, Barcelona have been the most consistent side compared to the other teams in the title race. Real Madrid, you do not know which Real Madrid will turn up. I think to me, they have got a lot of dependency on Karim Benzema. If you ask me, if Benzema cannot produce the magic, it's very, very difficult for Real Madrid. And Atletico, I think to me, if they lose this league title, they'll have no one to blame but themselves. I think Diego Simeone, I think it will be time, I think it will be time to sack him if he cannot deliver this league title, because they are at one point they are leading by 12 points. Atletico Madrid, you have got Rolente, very, very exciting midfielder, playing just behind Luis Suarez. I think to me, one thing I realized towards January coming into February, Atletico were playing attacking football, very, very good attacking football. Then they just developed fear from nowhere, and then they started being very, very defensive, very cautious, not throwing a lot of things at opposition, and it has cost them. If you see how we have been playing, they are looking to hit teams on a counter. How do you go to Valladolid and try and hit Valladolid on a counter? It's been very, very disappointing for Atletico. And going into this encounter against Barcelona, we are playing with a back three. Luis Suarez back at his own stamping ground. I think he wouldn't love to play counter-attacking football because he doesn't have the pace like he had in years gone by. I think he would need to have a lot of players in and around him. Coqueret, Zaraxio, Rolente, Carrasco, they need to play around Luis Suarez to try and create balls for him, because if they are going to defend and playing on a counter, I think they'll just play into Barcelona's hands. It will be very, very easy for Barcelona in this encounter. I see a Barcelona victory because Atletico have been poor. And it hands now Real Madrid the chance to win La Liga.
But like you've said, inconsistent with Real Madrid.
And they're playing a very, very tricky Sevilla against the former coach in Lopetegui. They sacked Lopetegui. Now he's going to Sevilla. You can see the project that he has done. A very, very good side. They've got a very, very good team. Koundé's at the back and Carlos very, very defensively sound. They've got Rakitic. He has got the experience. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this La Liga title ends.
No, just a quick one on the games that are being played. That's in the EPL. We've got an early kickoff. That's Leeds hosting Spurs, and then at 16 hours we've got Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace, and then we've got the bigger game, the big game for me today, that's Man City hosting Chelsea at 18:30, and at 21 hours, that's the last game for today, Liverpool are hosting Southampton, that's at 21:15. Tomorrow Sunday we've got Wolves who are hosting Brighton, and we've got Aston Villa who is hosting Man United, and we've got West Ham versus Everton, who's hosting Everton at 17:30, and at 20 hours tomorrow we've Arsenal who will be hosting West Brom. Augustine, we saw a Man U team who, for me, I would say were saved by Cavani. How was the performance for you going into today's game?
I think United against Roma, the job was done at Old Trafford. I think they gave it their all. That 45 minutes, I think, was enough to see them through the line. And going to Rome was always going to be very, very tricky. Roma at the back of Manchester United minds there. Roma had overturned big results, like overturning a Barcelona side which had won 4-1 at Camp Nou and went to the Olympic and lost by 4 goals to 0. It was going to be very, very tricky for United. I think they played very well going forward, but defensively they were very, very poor. Those goals would have been very much avoided, but it managed to see them through to the semi-finals and going to play against an Aston Villa side, very unpredictable. Holly Watkins, he has had a very, very good start to life in the Premier League. They're missing their influential player in Jack Grealish, but it will be very, very good encounter between the two. They always produce sparks.
Your final remarks, Augustine, looking at time is not on our side.
It's been a fantastic show. I think would love to thank all the viewers that tuned in to watch the show, and would like to thank the entire production team for making this possible, and we hope to see you again same time next week.
Like Augustine said, thanks to all the callers that came in and gave their view in terms of Ghana, and hopefully a miracle will happen with Ghana. Just want to thank the entire production team, Precious, Isaac upstairs, not forgetting Elijah, and the whole management team for giving us this opportunity to be live here on Set and give you nothing but the best in terms of sports. We are rebranding the show where we will be giving you a broad and a wide view in terms of other sports starting next week, where we'll be covering all the sports that are there, mostly here in Zambia. But stay glued, because at 10:45 hours Katamanda is coming on your screens with the weekly gospel, so don't go away. Thanks, and see you next week same time, 9:30 live. Bye bye, we are out.